Good morning, work from home people. Actually, it's Sunday and I'm not working from home, but we all go back to work tomorrow. Many of you are now doing this brand new thing where your cubicle is in your house, and I got 12 years of experience at this, so I'm going to give you a little advice. Tip number one, you need to carve out your own space. And I mean that seriously. If you went into work, unless you're one of those places that like to hotel you, you're going to have your office space. Your computer's going to be set up with your headphones and your notepads and your pens and your lights and everything is just you sit down and you work. Do that at home as well. It's very, very important, and it's very key to transitioning. It's like your commute is suddenly from your bedroom to your office, and you don't have to put up with 45 minutes of traffic. You need to be very protective of that space. As other folks are staying home with you, they're not going to understand work you and not work you. They're going to ask you to get something out of the cupboard. They're going to sit down and want to talk about something. And maybe that's cool. People invade cubicles all the time. But you need to be very, very protective of your space. Hang a red-green sign out front saying, "Bother me, don't bother me," if you have to. Remind folks to be respectful, that you are at work. And you have to put that in your own brain as well. Now, having said that, people that you work with are not aware of what you're doing. You are in this big blank space somewhere out there. And they're going to bother you. They're going to send you instant messages. They're going to send you emails. They're going to want you to interact with them directly because they have no idea what you're doing. So periodically, you need to go dark. Turn off the email, put up the away message on Slack. But when you do it, be very visible about it. Hey, I am going dark. I'll be back in 2 hours. Then focus and do your stuff. And when you come back out on time, because like I say, people are afraid. They don't know what you're doing out there. So come back on time and do it visibly. Hey, I'm back. What's going on? That way they'll feel more comfortable, especially your boss and especially the company that you work for, that you are indeed working and you're not just out at some tanning bed somewhere laying on the beach and racking up billing hours. Also, remember, you are allowed to have breaks. You are allowed to eat lunch. It is a big danger because when you're in an office, all of a sudden around 11:30, 12:30, you'll start seeing people pop up and they'll head for the refrigerator or they'll head to their cars to go to a restaurant. And it's a queue. It is lunchtime. Same around 5 or 6 o'clock when people start putting their crap together and getting ready to commute home. It's time to end the day. When you're sitting in the same place you woke up in and the same place you're going to go cook dinner in, you don't have those cues. So remember, you're entitled to them. You should take them for your mental health, if nothing else. But remember, you're allowed to have breaks. You're allowed to have lunch. You're allowed to leave at the end of the day. Just remind yourself of when those are. Which also kind of leads to a fun phenomena, and I don't know why more corporations don't realize this, but you actually work more and harder when you're at home. Let me explain. Without the cues to leave work at the end of the day, you tend to work longer. If all of a sudden an hour after work you go, maybe I'll just blah, 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 you just step right in there. Would you get back in your car and drive to your cubicle and do a little extra work? Nope, you probably wouldn't. So, if you brought your laptop home, you got the whole setup thing, but when the office is set up, it's just so easy to go back and work more. Now, maybe that's your thing and maybe it's cool, but bear in mind, you're going to be working longer and harder from home. Digital nomad, it is very different. Now, I've done both. Like I say, for 12 years, I've been working from wherever. And when I'm sitting here at the house and I've got everything set up, it's just like having a home office. However, when you're traveling abroad, traveling somewhere, it's different because you have to take your laptop and you have to set it up and find a charger and find the Wi-Fi and yada, 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 yada. It is a lot more difficult. And there are things you have to be aware of. And I got a little list over here. You need to understand where your internet is coming from. If you're going to go sit at a Starbucks or a Panera or some cafe, you have to understand, do they have reliable internet? Is it secure if you do secure work? Are they going to care that you're sitting there for several hours? Maybe you got to make a plan to be at this location for 2 hours and you move to another one for 2 hours. You got to be aware of that because you no longer have a stable home and working environment. Now, there's some other differences when you're a digital nomad, but basically it's just you're carrying everything with you, and it's a little harder to manage your time because you're in a place kind of to be in that place, and now you're trying to squeeze work into it. And it's a very different mindset. But if you're doing the coronavirus work from home, it's probably for a longer time and you're not traveling and there's not a beach waiting for you. So heed the first advice. But if you are traveling around, be mindful of everything you need might need to be redundant. If you're sitting in some cafe in Italy and your mouse dies, you're not going to go find a mouse real easy. So maybe carry an extra mouse with you. Everything in your office is in your backpack, and that is a very big difference. Now, something else you might want to keep in mind for both sides of this equation is like a WeWork space or one of those other remote offices. Now, some of them you can have a permanent space, some of them you digital nomad right to there and you set up and use their internet and whatnot. I've used them. They are interesting. They can be very difficult because everyone else is on a different work time thing, and a lot of them are going to be very, very noisy. And sometimes they're just going to set up shop right next to you and have a big conference, and it's just going to disturb the crap out of you. But they are an option before you go somewhere, before you work from home, maybe not with the coronavirus. Learn what they are. They are a great emergency backup. When we were in Barcelona and our internet went out for a few days, I had to use that because I needed a stable place to work from. So always have backup, always have redundancy. And what's the last thing I can tell you? Yeah, I just want to reiterate, this is your office. When you are working from home, you are working. It just happens to be in the same physical address as where you live. So as long as you can put that in your head and the people that are staying home with you, you can put it in their head, then all the people that you're working with, your bosses, your company, all your coworkers are going to understand that this is work time, that you're not out there playing. Oh, but bear in mind, you are allowed to go play periodically. If you were in the office and you wanted to run to the drugstore to pick up something and then go get some food, you do it. Don't feel guilty because you're at home going to the drugstore. You're still just going to the drugstore. Just when you're sitting in your home office, pretend like you're sitting in your office. What would you do? Do the same thing. It is no different. Set that in your brain. Working from home is easy. All right, and that's what I got for you today. Just keep doing more of these blogs because I got a whole backlog of stories I want to do, but I can't get out and do them because everything's freaking closed. So I'm just going to keep putting a whole bunch of brain spooge out there, and hopefully some of it is helpful or entertaining, or maybe you're just so damn bored you're willing to watch me. So another vlog down. Be a pirate. Go wander virtually because you can't touch anyone. Keep social distance. Wash your hands, your feet, whatever it takes. Just be safe. We'll talk to you soon.